What is going on, social media family? Corey Brim of Sugar Rim Bar, and today I got another very special guest, man. I'm bringing on my buddy, my good friend, Mr. Ron Blackwell, MassMutual. Is it just with MassMutual, Ron?
Well, yeah. Right now it's just with MassMutual. I'm contracted through MassMutual. I'm looking to do my own DBA within the next year.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So look, on today's show, whatever we doing, because like Ron and I, we've been, we kind of doing this thing, talking. We always sit around and we talk about finances. Ron and I talk about finances, and one of the key things that we sort of talk about is that there's a lot of information that we just don't have as people. So when Ron and I are talking, and I'm like, Ron, we need to like record this. We need to record this stuff because the information needs to get out there. So Ron, just really quick, just give a rundown of tell everybody sort of like, who you are, where you're from, all that good stuff.
My name is Euron Blackwell. Everybody calls me Ron. I was born and raised here in the Washington, D.C. area. Local kid, nothing too special, you know what I mean? A couple years of college, but I've been working in finance and banking since I was around 16, 17 years old. While my friends had jobs at like the clothing stores and McDonald's, I was in the credit union. I was in the bank, right? So I've been working around money pretty much my entire adult life. I got licensed to, wanted to get involved and wanted to do a little more than just help people balance their checkbooks. And I spoke with a gentleman and he informed me to go get my life and health insurance licenses. And I didn't really understand why he said that to me, but he said, if you want to be impactful, definitely go get your life insurance license. And I went and got it and started doing research, man. Long story short, I've been in the life and health insurance and financial services business for about the past 7 or 8 years, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's kind of what it is and what I do. I help people become more financially secure and with the focus on building generational wealth. I think that's something that's sorely lacking in our community.
Well, brother, let's let's just jump right into it, because most people that watch these videos, what I notice is, because we're probably talking, just to let you know, we're probably, when we start this discussion, we could talk all day, but we're going to try to keep this to about maybe 45 minutes to an hour, because there's a lot of information. And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about is like, people want you to give them like this, they want you to give this like this wealth of knowledge in like 5 minutes. It's just hard to cram all that information for someone. Yeah. You can't do it in 5 minutes.
Right.
This isn't not a sales pitch. It's not a presentation. What I really want to get out there is the talk that we don't share with each other and the things that we don't talk about, which, just like you brought up, was financial literacy. Because one of the big things that happens within our community is we're going to touch on everything. But what I wanted to talk to you about is like, just insurance. Like, how do we get away from talking about and having insurance? Our grandparents had it. How did we get away from it?
Well, I think there's a stigma around insurance in our communities that it's only good for if you die, right? Like, it's all about, just some money to bury a loved one with and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just all we really discuss about it. So we don't discuss it in terms of how we can utilize it and the living benefits and why it's important. And then we don't discuss like leaving legacies. Well, let me back up. First of all, in the Black community, discussing money is almost taboo to begin with.
Amen, brother.
That's number one, right? Amen. We don't have discussions about our money and how to build it, how to save it, how to grow it. So, I think we're lacking there. We need to be more open and honest to have those kind of discussions. And then again, insurance has been taboo because it's all about death and not about the benefits of using it while we're still surviving.
But we used to, like, I remember when I was little, man. I remember the insurance guy used to come to grandma's house and she used to pay like $20, $30, $10. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, how did we get away from that?
Honestly, I think just it didn't get passed down. You know what I mean? Like, in some families it did, but again, in others, the thought process behind it was, yeah, you want to send your loved one off to have a great burial, right? So we're like, man, I'm not spending money to bury nobody. Like, I need my money now. Like, a lot of us live in survival mode, so we don't see the benefit of paying for something every single month that we're never going to see a dime of, right? And Yeah, we just don't see the benefit because like we're thinking about how we're going to pay this bill next month, and insurance just isn't a bill that we see as a necessity
But
until
Ron, isn't
until
it
somebody
crazy?
dies.
Isn't it crazy that people will go out and spend $200 a month for a cell phone? Like I know this is like the crazy example that everyone gives, but it's the reality of where we live.
Absolutely is.
People will go out and spend $200 on a cell phone. They will insure that phone. It won't even insure their life.
Right. And, I think it's also because people don't realize their own self-worth and their own self-value. Right. An example I gave you earlier today, we talked before. A person that makes $50,000 a year, right? Over 20 years, you made $1 million, right? So why would you not insure yourself for $1 million? Because that's what you're worth to your family, right? We insure things, but what we don't insure is our most important thing, which is us. And let's be honest, in terms of being a family person, one of the greatest assets we have is our ability to make money. And us making money is how we take care of our families and our loved ones, how we provide. So if we don't ensure that and something happens to us, then what happens to our family?
Right, exactly.
You'll pay to insure your cell phone, so if you drop it, you can get it replaced, but you won't insure yourself. And if something happens to you, who's going to replace your value that you bring to your family? Now, they're going to lose a loved one, but that don't mean they have to lose everything else. Now they're going to lose their home. If your kids are going to a private school, they got to change schools because what you brought to the table is now gone.
Now, look, let's jump to this. Let's just, if you don't mind, let's jump to this because I know that most people are going to watch this. Here's a thing that I think that we just need to maybe lay as a foundation. A lot of people don't even understand what insurance is. Like they get sold from a salesperson. And look, this ain't a knock on no salespeople because people take stuff, they get offended when you start talking the truth. But a lot of salespeople that sell people insurance, they don't break down. People have no idea what type of insurance they have. They just think they have insurance. So can you just quickly break down the different tiers and the different things and the different levels of insurance in layman's terms?
Yeah. Well, okay. So the most common types of insurance that people get is like term, right? Term insurance versus permanent insurance. These are the basics, right? So think about term insurance. Term insurance is kind of like paying rent, right? Like you'll have insurance for a certain period of time and that's it. So like, okay, you get $500,000 for 20 years, right? So every month you might pay like maybe 25, 30 bucks. You got $500,000 in coverage, right? It doesn't earn you any money. It doesn't do anything for you, but it's ensured that if something happens to you within that time period, your family will get $500,000.
Right.
After that 20 years is up, thank you for coming out. We appreciate you. We appreciate your business. Now you're on your own.
God bless you and good night.
Right. So term insurance is like just kind of temporary and covers you for just a small period of time. Permanent insurance is something that literally is exactly what it says. It's permanent and it lasts your whole life. There are a lot of benefits to permanent insurance through some companies. They actually have, they build what's called a living benefit or a cash value. You can borrow against those type of things, but most importantly, you're covered for the rest of your life. So,
yeah, but does every insurance company offer that?
No.
Right. And I don't want to back you in the corner. I don't want to do that. But does everyone? Because most people, they're not going to know to ask that question or to seek that knowledge. They're going to go with whatever the insurance salesperson or rep shows them. Right.
Right. You're absolutely right. And this is why I kind of enjoy being a broker, because what I know is that there's a place for every different kind of insurance.
Right.
So you'll never really hear me badmouth one product over another.
Right.
You'll hear some, as you said, salespeople do that. Right. Like every person doesn't need the same kind of insurance.
Right.
Let's be honest. If you make $40,000 a year and this guy makes $400,000 a year, you probably don't need the same kind of coverage because you're going to utilize it for different reasons. Right. So there are different kinds of permanent insurance. You have whole life, you have universal whole life, then you have you have variable, indexed. So they all function kind of differently, right? But the key is in permanent insurance, whenever you buy a permanent insurance policy, I always recommend to people that you be able to see a guarantee, right? Because what you don't want to do, listen, if you want to gamble with your money, play the stock market. I'm just a believer that if you want to gamble,
right,
you go to the casino or you can play the stock market. One thing you shouldn't gamble with, your insurance. There should be a guarantee that if something happens to me, my family's guaranteed this amount of money, right? The last thing you want to happen is you've invested in this policy for all these years. It's index-based, it's based upon the market. You've been paying a premium. You think something's going to happen. Then when you then you pass away, you call the agent up and I say, well, what had happened was,
right,
you know what I mean? And it's not what you thought it was, right? So you definitely want to talk to somebody that's going to show you a product with some guarantees involved in it, right? So, just some knowledge, right? Like personally, as a planner and an advisor, I want to get to know the individual that I'm selling, that I'm working with, right? What are your goals? What are your plans? And figure out what works best for you. Because I'll say it again, insurance is not a one size fits all. Just because your brother bought a 30-year term doesn't mean that's the best thing for you. You know what I mean? So there needs to be a conversation had, and any insurance agent that you talk with should be discussing from a perspective of getting to know you.
Right.
Right. And not selling you or not trying to convince you of why you need this product.
Right. Right. And I think we kind of live in this world, in this society now where, people are just, they think everything's a scam. They think everybody's trying to get over on them. They almost compare the insurance rep or salesperson to like a used car salesman. Like he's just trying to make some money. And we've removed, and that's why I'm saying, like, I think we've removed the importance of insurance. So like for you, how many I'm sure you've experienced this. How often has it been where you've gone to someone, you talked to them, they didn't purchase the insurance? I mean, you went through everything. All they had to do was sign the paperwork, start making the payments, and then something happens, right? And then they come back to you and they say, "Hey, Ron, hey, I just wanted to just check with you. Did she ever get that policy?" And then you have to say, unfortunately, like, no, right?
No,
Speak,
right.
Speak on that.
Yeah, well, because again, it's about people having to identify the need and seeing the value, right? And I think unfortunately, some people just don't value it until it's necessary. The main calls I get is after something happens to someone somebody knows, right? Hey man, yeah, my aunt just passed away, dog, and they ain't had no insurance, and so I need to get some life insurance. You know what I mean? Like, they did a GoFundMe. Yeah, you don't want to be in that position.
You're gonna get a whole nother podcast started now. You get me going on that GoFundMe, man.
Right. You know what I'm saying? We have to see the value in it and understand, like I said, protecting your greatest asset, which is yourself, and thinking about your family and identifying those needs, right? That has to be important to somebody, and I can't make that important to you.
I want to know, man. I want to know, how do we begin sort of like the, because I have a personal like just grudge against this GoFundMe thing, right? Because they're, at the end of the day, because it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense, right? Like the way that I see this is you're hanging with people, right? You hang with your friends, y'all go to the bar, y'all, you take trips, ladies, y'all taking trips, you spend more money in entertainment, right? And then when this friend of yours dies, or your buddy or whatever, who you've been hanging around for 20 years, then what happens is you don't have enough money to bury yourself because you didn't get a policy. And then because we're already in a financially strapped world, we're not saving anything. And this is why I want to like have these, I want to do these things. I want to have open dialogue and open source conversations, is that we're really not saving money. People can say whatever they want, but come on, you see their financials, you see what people are doing with their money.
Absolutely.
Not saving money. And then the person passes away. And then what happens? All of your friends, you literally see on the GoFundMe page, $25, $50, $5. Wish I could have gave more. That is so sad to me that we've been partying all our lives together. You've been to my house. We've been barbecuing. We done been to the clubs. We done been on trips together, our families. And then when I die, we all got to scrounge around to raise up $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to put me in the ground.
Yeah, man. I see it all the time. You're absolutely right. I think that we've taken that tomorrow's not promised credo way too seriously and
the
way too
YOLO,
far.
the YOLO
Right,
lifestyle.
right. Listen, way too seriously, right? Right. Tomorrow's not promised, but what happens when tomorrow shows up?
Tomorrow
You know what I
come
mean?
knocking.
Right. And another thing I always like to say to people is, when talking about financial planning, it's one thing to want to work at retirement age after 65. It's another thing to have no choice but to have to work, right? We have to start thinking about our futures. We have to get a mentality, a mindset of who's going to take care of me when I get older? How's my life going to look when I get to retirement? What legacy am I going to leave for my children? Right? Why, it just feels to me like we're more concerned with wearing our value than what our value is on paper in terms of asset and what we're really worth, right? We take more value in being seen a certain kind of way, as opposed to like, I can go on paper and show you what I'm really worth. And when I leave here, my children are going to be fine. I'm not going to leave them with just debt.
And you would think, man, like after this whole pandemic and COVID, you would really think that people would have a different outlook on their finances. But what I'm seeing is most people, they haven't changed their lifestyle. Like the world is in a tailspin. People are still spending money like the world's not like the economies haven't shut down.
Dude, yeah, like just the fact that Jeff Bezos made like $7 billion in like 3 or 4 months. Like, right. That's crazy. So yeah, like you said, yeah, we haven't stopped spending, even though some people weren't even making it, but we were still spending it, right?
So let's talk about like someone who like they don't have any insurance. They've never really had any insurance. They're working, they have a family. What kind of advice would you sort of give someone out there that, and to be very honest, they may be a little embarrassed because they don't, what's sort of a good way to sort of open up that they can feel comfortable with maybe asking questions or some things that they should know if they want to move forward with, getting a policy or even talking about insurance?
Well, first of all, don't feel embarrassed, and it's okay, because there are plenty of people out here that don't have it, and it's all right, right? Just be willing to know what you don't know, right? And let's just have the conversation. You know what I mean? Like let's put it on the table. Let's find out where you're at and get something that's going to fit you. Like if you know you have a need, right? Make sure that it's going to fit you, so where it's you understand why you're paying for it, and you understand the need, but also that it's comfortable. You're comfortable paying for it.
You understand the benefit.
Right. You understand the benefit. And that way it's not, the sacrifice is definitely worth it because you understand what it's doing and how it's protecting you. Right. Like if you really love your family,
like you say you do.
Right. Then this is important. Like these are important. It's important to know that if something happened to you, they're protected. If you were to get injured at work, right? Can your family survive on half your paycheck? Because most disability policies through a job, it's only half. Right? Because you make it on half your paycheck. No. So we may want to get something to kind of bridge that gap too. Right. And we can look at some disability coverage. That's something we need, right? Protecting your greatest asset, which is you and your ability to make money. Right. Also, protecting that money. If something were to happen, the money still comes in. These are important things. And
Ron, I don't mean to cut you off, but like when people are watching this and when they hear this, they don't understand that this is real. Like you're speaking reality. You're not saying that like this is some farce or some fake. Like this really something happens to you, your policy will cover the expenses, right? I mean, that's
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if something happens, you make a phone call. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I'll be the one to come deliver a check. Well, if you get injured and you have a disability, just call, file a claim. You know what I mean? After the 30 or 60-day waiting period, you go through, start getting a check cut. And now, you know what I mean? Like, but we've seen the benefit. Like I've seen it work. Like I've seen long-term care packages, long-term care policies actually pay off when a family member gets ill, right? And you think, okay, well, Medicaid. No. Medicare is not going to kick in until you start liquidating assets. So now you got to sell all your stuff just to get taken care of. But wait, you had a long-term care rider on your policy. Nope. You can pick out, you want a nurse to come to your house. You can pick out a nursing facility. to go to if you want to go into one, like, and you don't have to sell everything, right? These things really happen. Like, this is real life.
Right.
And we don't think about it until we see it, but being prepared for it is always better than not being prepared.
And then the world we're living in now, man, it used to be a time when like insurance and like the things you talked about, it used to be like for, when grandma, when she's 99, 112, but now it's like people are falling off at 50, 40,
Right. Right. I mean, yeah, people are, but and then in some cases, people are living longer too, right? And in the case of people living longer, this is why permanent insurance is a good thing. Like, okay, you may be 40, right? You come see me and we talk about it. You get a 30-year term, right? 30-year term policy. You know what? I don't want to spend a lot of money and invest in no policy. I'm just going to cover me, right?
That's because that's how we sound.
Right. So you get a 30-year term, right? Now, 15 years later, you pop up and you got some kind of debilitating illness, right? But you're debilitating, but you live, but now you're uninsurable. So now you get to 70 and that $500,000 you bought from me is gone.
Right.
And now you can't buy anymore.
It's worthless. And you can't get picked up by no one else.
Right. So what do you do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but nobody explains those options to us. Nobody lets us know those things. Nobody tells us. They don't set us up in the beginning because they're trying to make a commission. But more importantly than insurance, I wanted to touch on some other things because it's not, you just don't do insurance. I don't want to just focus on
absolutely not.
Right. So it's a full financial planning service that you offer, right? So what are some of the other services that you offer?
Oh, well, when we talk about retirement planning, when you retire for, you're looking, a lot of times people, you go through life and you get a paycheck. You work all your life and we're told, okay, just put money in the 401k. And when I retire, the 401k will pay me. Well, first of all, are you sure? Are you sure you're putting enough away? Right? Are you sure it's going to be enough to maintain your lifestyle once you get to retirement? Like,
because we never talk about the cost of inflation. We don't understand that things go up every year.
Right.
Milk is not going to cost the same in 20 years as it does now.
Right. What people don't understand is that, okay, when you climb Mount Everest, you ask somebody, when you climb a mountain, right? You climb Mount Everest. What's the most important part?
Oh, that was a question. You asking me.
Like, if I were to ask you, like, you're looking to climb Mount Everest, what do you think is the most important part of that whole trip?
Probably breathing. The air gets thin.
Right. Well, most people will say getting to the top, right? No, getting back down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so your whole life, you build and build and build and you grow, right?
Right.
But now you got to come back down that mountain. So you got to be safe. So you've earned a paycheck your whole life going up, right? And you save. But you don't know what that check's going to look like coming back down. Because the fear should be outliving your money.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, we help people kind of extrapolate what they're saving, how they're building, and what that's going to look like, coming back down the mountain in retirement, in terms of like what your paycheck's going to look like, dealing with taxes coming back down, dealing with inflation, to make sure you have enough money saved up to reach those goals. Right. I also deal with education planning. You know what I mean? Like, you have children, you want to save money for them to go to college, because we know what student loans do to people. You know what I mean? Like, it's an option, but if you can find a way to avoid your children having to go into debt, you know what I mean? Like graduating with a ton of debt, so we trying to help people kind of plan for that as well. That's
or even them having the option to do whatever they want when they turn 18. Go to pick a school of their choosing, or invest the money if they want to.
Right. Other viable options besides just saving money for college. But yeah, again, being able to set money aside for your children to invest in them.
Because we don't, just, and when I say we, I'm putting myself into this too.
Right.
I just started waking up about 5 years ago to finances. I lived my entire life cash. Everything, cash rules everything around me is the way I live my life. And then once I started realizing I was bleeding out money from everywhere, and then I started getting with some people that knew a whole lot more than I did, then I realized, oh my God, I have been taught we've been conditioned and taught the wrong things about money. And by design, though. By design.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. By design.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I have conversations with some fellow individuals in the industry, other agents and other financial planners in the industry, and if I could be honest, it's kind of sometimes
please be honest.
It's a different conversation, amongst different
ethnicities, races,
ethnicities of people,
cultures,
right? Particularly in regards to money and finances and savings and things of that nature. It's a different conversation.
Dude, I remember one time my dad, he has a place in Baltimore. We went to go do some paperwork and get everything squared away. We were in Baltimore, and this guy comes in with his son. His son was couldn't have been no more than 16, maybe somewhere in there. But he was putting ownership or adding a son to the deed. Now, I mean, it was weird to me. Probably commonplace to them, but foreign to me. And these are conversations we did not do growing up. And across the board, when I talk to most people as a culture, we don't talk about real estate. We don't talk about stocks. We don't talk about life insurance. We don't talk about checking accounts. We don't talk about paying bills. It's like we got to remove this thing where we stop having these this gap of miscommunication where we're not discussing and the world's not getting any better. For us, it's not.
Right. I mean, Corey, and you're absolutely right. I mean, and again, there's conversations that you and I have had about it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm just an advocate for life insurance because I believe it's one of the greatest ways to create generational wealth, right? Again, you leave here, your family will guarantee to have some money, right? Like, why don't we have more African-American trust fund babies? Why are we leaving? Why when we pass away, we're leaving our kids a ton of debt? You know what I mean? And not leaving them a step ahead, right?
Or just a directive. I told my parents, look, I don't care what, because we say this thing like, oh, don't worry about me. No, listen, I don't care if you write it down on a napkin. Write down what you want to have happen with your clothes, with your jewelry. Again, our grandparents did that. They let you know this is going here, this is going there, and there's a separation with us where we're not doing that. And I want to have these discussions like we're doing now to get back to that. But what I also want to do is I want to give people straight up game out the mud. We think that there's somebody out there right now that's making $40,000 a year that doesn't understand that they could build generational wealth.
Absolutely. They absolutely can. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to cost them a whole lot of money, right? But you have to want it, and you have to sit down and receive the knowledge and receive the information and allow it to be explained. See, we get so caught up in, like I said earlier, the stock market and playing the market and the ups and downs and all that. Or you hear like a Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman, buy term, invest the rest, right? I mean, and don't get me wrong, that strategy works for some people who have a sound investment strategy, right? If you don't have a sound investment strategy, it's kind of a bad idea, right? As opposed to imagine you can put your money into a safe vehicle, right? And that money could actually work for you, earn you a guaranteed to make you some money. It's low and slow, but it's not a 0.5% like a savings account, but you may get between 2 and 6% guaranteed growth on your money. And it's not tied to the market, right? Like, why would we not think about using a vehicle like that? And like, as we discussed, Corey, and I'll put this phraseology out there. If anybody wants to discuss it, we can talk about it. But creating your own bank, where you literally can borrow money against yourself, you're leveraging your own cash and it's tax advantaged, right? It's not taxable. Why would you not utilize an asset like that? And again, if something happens to you, there's money left over for your family, so they can grow upon it and build upon it.
So Ron, as the guy on the outside, right? So you're the broker, right? I'm the consumer. I got to tell you, man, as a person that's owned my own business for over 10 years, like I said, about 5 years ago is when I kind of like this light bulb went off and made me like take another step back and look at my finances. And then I just started realizing that there were so many things that I was missing. I started going down the rabbit hole. Once that, I think that there's people out there, like whoever's going to, look, we have no idea who's going to watch this video, right? None whatsoever. Right. But if somebody stuck around this far, right, there are people out there like me who you make good money, you take care of your family, you did all the right things. You paid your taxes, you know what I mean? You did all the right things. But no one, Ron, when this thing clicked in my head and I start going to YouTube University and start searching this stuff, there still wasn't anybody out there. it was almost like I tried to figure out how to wholesale. You get little pieces here and there. Nobody was putting the information out there and saying you can become your own bank. You could literally just shift your investments or whatever you have into a safe, a reliable, safe vehicle. Now again, I know nothing's really 100% guaranteed, but for the last 150 years, this thing's been paying out. So if the market just keeps doing what is, doesn't matter what the market does, right?
Doesn't matter what the market does, right?
Doesn't matter what the market does. But if I keep getting a healthy 4, 5, 6, or 7% return on my money, the bank's paying me 0.008. They're paying me a fraction of a penny,
right?
And I could put my money into this. In layman's term, let it sit, don't touch it, consider it gone, and then the next few years, let it compound on some interest. Now, when I need to go get a car, or I need to, I want to treat myself to a trip, I don't have to put it on a credit card that's going to charge me 20% interest. I've gained $4,000 over here, and I can take, and you can stop me if I'm wrong, I can take the $4,000 or $5,000 off of that, and I still didn't mess up my policy.
Right. I was going to say, I wasn't going to stop you because you're absolutely right. Yeah, like, why would you not do that? See, but again, we're conditioned. It's a scam. Or you talk to some other agent because their company doesn't sell the product, they're going to down talk it. Right. But because
they can't make money off of it.
Well, frankly, right. Or their companies just don't do it. Like there are certain companies that sell this product, but like you said, they've been around 200 plus years. They always have paid out, right? Companies are just super solid.
Yeah.
Right?
So as again, I don't, no disrespect, I don't mean to cut you off, but like I'm gonna let you talk, but I want to speak from the standpoint of the novice person who didn't know, because that was me. I thought that, so when I went searching for this stuff, I was like, oh, I can just pick up a policy. I was calling insurance agents. They didn't know anything about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're the insurance agent. Why does this sound foreign to you? Why is what I'm saying doesn't make sense? And then come to find out, there's only like 4 companies. And again, I know people are going to say, like, what are the 4 companies? I'll tell you one of them. It's called MassMutual. It's the one that Ron works with.
I I actually worked for one of the other ones too. I worked for New York Life for a while too. So there's like the big 4 really when it comes to this type of product: MassMutual, Northwestern Mutual, New York Life, and Guardian, right? Like those are your big 4 that really operate and dominate in that particular market space, right? That market share. And yeah, it's like I said, people they're like, man, this can't be real. No, it's real because people are leveraging it all the time, right? Like I had a conversation with a guy, again, another high-level guy, does what I do. He works primarily with doctors. And he was like, man, let me tell you, like a lot of them put a lot of money in these things. You know why? Well, Corey, look, they said, man, doctors get sued for malpractice, right?
Right.
They can't touch.
Right.
You know what I mean? Can't touch the life insurance policy. And again, just the various benefits. Like I said, you want to be able to leverage your money. You've been paying into this thing. You've been paying into this thing for so many years. You want to like you're heavy into real estate investing, right? You're looking for somewhere where you can put your money, but if you want to buy a new property, you don't have to touch your liquid cash, right? Let me pull some money out of this thing and go buy that property real quick. You know what I mean?
Right.
Listen, you got a kid, and you want to pay for your child's college, right? You think I'm great. I'm doing the 529 plan. 529s are great. I work with them. Let's not mistake it. But you put all that money into a 529 plan, and your kid gets 19 and decides, you know what, college ain't for me, right? I think I want to start a business, right? I think I want to do this. Now, if you pull that money out of that 529 for anything other than education, guess what happens?
You get taxed
20%. Let me get
taxed,
right? So why not consider? Just to, you may put some in the 529, you can do that, but why not maybe have some in another asset that you wouldn't get taxed on? Like if say you have 2 kids, because you can transfer money from one child to another in some certain 529s. But for this kid that want to go to college, you still had some money elsewhere you could give them. Hey, here's some startup money.
But Ron, I'm so serious. Like, we don't know that, brother. We don't know it. We don't know it.
These are conversations that we have. That's why I said
And behind those closed doors, those CEOs and those companies, those are conversations that they're having. Those are the things that they're doing. They're showing each other how to get money, and that ain't trickling down to our community.
Right. Or even from a perspective, think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. You work for a company and you're in upper management, and they say, you know what? We need you to sign right here. We're going to take out an insurance policy on your life, right? Now, what they're saying now, you get the policy, you think, oh, but it's for like a crazy number. It's like 2 million. And you're like, why are they doing this? Right? Because you're worth $2 million to that company based upon the job you do. If something happens to you, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna take that 2 million and go hire somebody else. You're worth 2 million to that company. So they want to ensure that if you don't stay there, they can replace you with that 2 mil. So if the company thinks you're worth that, why do you not see yourself as being worth that to insure yourself for that same amount of money?
Boy, I wish I gotta get a bomb, like a flex bomb. That was like, I need to drop the bomb on that one, man.
I mean, it's just practical, right? If you had a machine in your garage that pumped out cash, and I told you over the next 10 years that machine is going to pump out $2 million, you would do everything in the world to make sure that machine was protected, that it worked, that it was oiled. Like, you wouldn't want that thing to break. You would protect that thing like your life depended on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Think about you as that machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is why that's why I want to open up these conversations and have these things. And it's not like we're going in depth and all this stuff, because if people want to get in contact with you, I'll add, if you guys are watching this, you want to get in contact with Ron, I will add his contacts down below. You can set up an appointment with him. He'll do a consultation with you. But I'm gonna be very honest with you. If you're serious, because I understand you may have a lot of questions, but guys, at some point, you just got to jump. Like, this stuff is making sense. Like, so when we were friends before, but the thing with me is, like, I was like, I got to get this policy. I'm watching all these other, I'm going down the rabbit hole and watching all these other people make money and still be able to, like, pass that on to their family. I'm like, I want to do what they're doing. And I don't have to be on, I don't have to have some multi-billion-dollar company. I just need to do it on my level. So in layman's terms, if you're watching this, basically what I did is I got with Ron, I got an insurance policy, and what I'm doing with the policy is I'm overfunding. Am I, Ron? I'm overfunding the policy.
Well, what you're doing, you're in essence right. You are overfunding it, but we can't overfund it too much, because then it becomes a modified endowment and it becomes an investment, right? Like, what people don't realize is that you can utilize life insurance, it's disguised as it's an investment disguised as life insurance, so to speak. But there are certain laws and guidelines that we can't put too much money into it to where it becomes a full-fledged investment. And if that happens, then you lose the tax benefit.
I've got to pay taxes on it. But then the other thing that at least, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know all this. But then what I would do is wouldn't I just open up another policy?
Absolutely.
Right. So what I try to get people to understand is that the greatest thing that I love about America is they put so many loopholes into everything. And I don't want to do nothing illegal. I'm not trying to overthrow the government. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess nothing. I don't want to cross no waves. I want to do exactly what corporate America does, but I want to do it on my level. So if I got to put $20 away into something, like a Roth IRA, and that money can sit, what's the max? 12,000 or something, whatever.
A Roth IRA is
6,000. Okay, maybe I don't put 6. Maybe I only put maybe I only put 1,000. Whatever you can afford to do, put it over there, even if it's $5 a day.
Well, or what you could do is utilize the system. Say you want to put away 10 grand a year, but the Roth only allows you 6. Why not put 6 in the Roth and put the other 4 in something else that'll still work for you, still earn you the money, but without the volatility of the market. Right. So, again, what you're saying is absolutely correct. We don't want to break the law. Lord knows we don't want to do that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But why not take in this information or learn what we can do, like what others have been doing for generations, and start utilizing it for ourselves, as you said, on an individual level, right? I'll do a consult with you, and the consult I do with someone else will be totally different.
Completely different.
What works for you may not work for them, right? So, but again, the beauty is sitting down with someone and having the conversation, right? Financial planning is not just for wealthy people. We all need to have a financial plan.
Hey, brother, hey, selector, DJ, rewind. Can you say that again for the bald head people in the back?
That financial planning is not just for wealthy individuals. Everybody should have a financial plan. And also, life insurance isn't just for individuals that have families. Single folks, it has uses for you too, right?
And it's not about death. Life insurance is not about death. It says life. It has the word life in it. It's life insurance.
Right.
It's not called death insurance.
Right. It's called life insurance. And there are a myriad of uses. And I would love to sit down and talk about it. But I think also we have to be open to receiving information,
Amen,
knowing that we don't know, and being okay with not knowing, right? And just being able to have honest conversations, right? Like as a fiduciary, I can't disclose your business.
Whoa, you dropped the big, see, that was my bomb. There's my bomb. You dropped the big Latin word. Let's just bring that back, because a lot of people don't. I'm telling you, Ron, I'm telling you, when you watch, if anybody's watching this video, correct me if I'm wrong, help me to guide me through these things as I grow. A lot of people don't know what a fiduciary is, man.
Well,
I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, growing up in the hood, I didn't know.
The long and short is I'm bound to keep information secret between you and I. It's like attorney-client privilege, so to speak, but on a financial level, right? So I can never disclose anyone's business, but I also have an understanding that I'm only as successful as you are.
And you have to do what's in the best interest of the client.
At all times.
At all times.
Right, at all times. And if I don't, guess what?
I'm gonna be dangerous when I get this stuff down, Ron.
I can't work in the business no more. I can't, you know what I mean? And I don't want to do that, So yeah, man, it's all about
the reason I stopped you is because of this. Again, people that are watching this, and when I talk about people that are watching this, again, remember, I'm talking about me too.
Yeah.
So here you are being a fiduciary, giving someone some great advice that helps them. But what do? We run around to people that ain't ever had no insurance, ain't ever ran a business, ain't ever benefited from nothing, ain't never invested in nothing. And those are the people that we're taking advice from, instead of someone like you that's doing this every day.
Well, yeah. Misinformation is running rampant in today's culture. And the last 4 years have been just, you know what I mean? Like all about misinformation. But yeah, man, like we tend to take bad advice from our friends because we trust them, right? But why not meet someone or, talk with someone you feel comfortable with in the business and develop that kind of relationship? Understand, what I like about what I do the most is that, I'm a relational person, right? Like I'm not this isn't a transactional relationship. Once we work together, right? Like I pretty much work for you now. Like we're in a relationship. So understand, every year to 18 months, I'm going to give you a phone call, say we need to set up a meeting. What's going on in your life? What's changed? Because as things change in your life, guess what? The plan probably needs to change too. So we're going to make adjustments accordingly, right? I'm going to tell you that's a bad idea. You're going to get emotional about something in investment. I'm not going to get emotional about it. Stand pat, right? These are the conversations, right? But we need those kind of relationships. You know what I mean? Why not have someone that is going to help you with your finances and your money and look out for your best interests outside of you, right? Yeah. Because we can all get emotional and make emotional decisions, particularly around money, right? Yeah. And it's good to kind of have somebody say, it's a bad idea, right? Yeah. So it's just, it's for me, it's really about having those relationships, man, and helping people, because that's what I believe in. Like I believe that people helping people, we can accomplish a lot more together than we can ever accomplish separate, right?
Amen.
So, why not work together as a community to ensure that we all grow and that we all prosper? Because it's all about all of us doing better.
Yeah. And like we said, again, back to what I was kind of saying, why I want to do this, because why am I making these videos? Why are we doing this? Why are we recording it? Why am I putting this out there into the universe? It's simply put is because this is sort of like the information that I didn't have, and I always say that I want to give people, or at least I want to try to. I want to try to give people the information that I simply didn't have. And everything that I'm putting out there, I'm actually doing. So I'm not bringing Ron on here just to talk about it. I actually have a policy. Right? Like,
yes, he does. And we're probably going to do another one.
I actually have a policy, and I actually want people to call Ron. I actually want to show you who I'm working with. I had some real estate developers on before. I'll bring on some tax people. I want to show people how to, and I think we're sort of in that time now where a lot more people are starting to wake up to their finances. They're starting to wake up to their situations. They're starting to, or especially I know, like me, you get to a certain point in your life and you just start looking back and be like, man, what am I doing? Like, it's just, I got to get this together.
Yeah. I mean, and Corey, just, as friends, man, God bless you for this, man. Like, you're helping a lot more people than you know. Like, honestly, like with your videos and what you share, and the hustle and living a dream. More of us should be doing that, right? This is what it's about. Like you said, you bring together good people, and you have real estate guys, you got other guys in other businesses that I know I've talked to and I want to talk with, I want to work with. Like, this is what it's about. We're helping our village,
right?
Because it takes a village. You know what I mean? Like, it's not this self-serving. I get this information, I'm gonna keep it to myself. It's not it.
Brother, I wish we could get out of that. They call it the crab in the barrel mentality, but I think it's deeper than that. I think slavery really did a number on us. I think slavery was that whole Willie Lynch and slavery just really got us kind of like messed up in the head where like even us sitting here sharing this, and I'm telling people to call you. I think people think it's kind of weird, they because they think that we've been set up and designed to believe that we're going to get something out of it, or he's just trying to get some money. Where at the end of the day, I simply remember where I was. I remember the information that I did not have and did not know, and I remember I'm looking back where I'm at now, and I'm not even anywhere near where I want to be. But looking back, I look at the gaps, and now I see the spaces. I could have saved myself 5 years, man, of my life.
Dude, you and me both.
And then if I can pour this into my children, if what we're talking about right now, if somebody would have just took, I don't know how long we've been talking, maybe an hour, right? If somebody would have just sat me down at 18, 19, 20 and gave me an hour-long conversation of a roadmap of here's what you need to do, my life I'd be a multimillionaire right now, man.
Right.
Sitting on easy street.
Right. And Corey, see, and that's the thing too, right? We talk about generational wealth, right? But generational wealth isn't just money.
Right.
It's knowledge and education as well, right? So we need to be passing down these nuggets and this knowledge, and also our contacts, who we know, right? Like your business may be generational. My business may be generational. My son will be able to call your son. Hey, call Corey's son up. That's what he does, right? Call Roy's son up. Roy's son is involved in the government. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that we need to do. We need to pass on our contacts, pass on our information, pass on this wealth of knowledge. And that's how we create these generations to come, so they'll be more successful than we are. Like, they'll have a much firmer footing than we do, right? Like, I want the Blackwell name to live on. You want the Brim name to live on. We want those names to mean something in the future, right? Like, why don't we have more of those families like the Kennedys and the Rockefellers? Like, we should have those as well, like, and not just the Carters, because shout out to J and B, that's going to be some legacy, right? But, we need to strive to have more of those families coming out of our communities as well.
Yeah,
right?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and then here's the thing too, just one more thing, like, from where we live at, we actually make the amount of money where that's possible and doable if we plan for the future.
Wealthiest black county in America, man. We live in the wealthiest black county in America, man.
Yep. And I quote this Bible verse all the time, but in the Bible it says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Right. So the wisdom isn't just spending it now, but the wisdom is in setting up our family legacy for 2 generations.
Yeah. And we shouldn't, at the end of the day, man, we shouldn't want there's no reason why we should want especially the world that's happening now. There's no reason why we should want our children to fall into the same exact pitfalls that we fell into.
Absolutely.
The same exact one, nothing different, same trap. So again, I know more people are waking up, but I just wish more people would just have these healthy conversations about credit, real estate, stocks. And if you don't have the information, watch something like this. Go to YouTube. I know that everybody, and here's another thing. I know that sometimes when you watch this stuff, because I get the thing too where people say, why do I put this out here for free? Because I see the people out there, man. I see the vultures that are trying to make money off of you that aren't going to give you, the content or the knowledge. They're not going to share that with you. They're just trying to get a score. They're just trying to make a sale. They're going to kill you and move on to the next victim.
And the funny thing about that is the African American community, we're one of the biggest consuming communities in this nation.
We make everything move. We make everything move.
Right. And we make a lot of people wealthy, right? Of products that, quite frankly, aren't even in our best interests.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're, in my industry, I know that we're being sold a lot of stuff that when something happens, they're not paying out, they're not cutting check. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it's shameful. You know what I mean? But that's just the reality. So look, even if you don't talk to me, right? Even if people that watch this don't call me up, I still recommend that they at least look at the companies that they're looking to buy from. Whoever that individual comes to you and they work for this company, go check out their A rating. Go check out their rating, right? Go look at Better Business Bureau. I encourage you to do so. You know what I mean? Like, because this is important. This is literally life or death. Like,
right.
This is where you're staking your money in, and this is what you're staking a part of your legacy on. So you want to make sure that you're with someone and with a company that you trust, and have an agent that you trust.
I say that for a lot of things in life, man. I mean, definitely touching on what you do in the financial world, but I definitely say that in life. In life, I'm not hitching my wagon up. Look, man, you ever go into like a GNC or a vitamin store, and you walk in and you say, hey, I'm looking for some supplements, some multivitamins, and the person that works there, they look like they just ate 9 people. They 900 pounds, and they're like, hey, man, yeah, you need to take in 500 calories. You're like, how you gonna give me advice, brother? How you gonna give me advice? Or you ever have a real estate agent trying to sell you a house, but they don't have a house? They've never owned a house. So how are you going to tell me about when it gets cold and I got to winterize my house? Because pipes have never burst on you. And I'm not judging the guy at the GNC. I'm not judging the real estate agent. I'm not judging the guy at the car dealership when I go in there and I'm trying to buy me an Escalade, but this dude, he can't even hit the car. My credit better than the dude that worked there. How does that look where a guy that works at the dealership can't even buy it? I'm talking to an insurance agent. He don't, how many insurance agents, they don't even have the insurance that they trying to sell you? Come on now. Am I preaching?
Yeah. That's that conversation, that what you just said about the insurance piece, well, I got some stories about that. Because
but be a product of your product.
Yeah, but
stand behind it.
Yeah, but here's but some of them cats, they not like they gonna sell you a product, but guess who they got their insurance with?
Right.
I literally, the 2 companies that I work for, like they have whole offices dedicated to specific markets, right? But yet those specific markets are in the same business, selling a whole other product to a whole different segment of people. Go figure. You know what I mean?
Go figure.
But to your point, you definitely want to speak with someone that has some experience, or someone that kind of has some skin in the game, so they can kind of tell you about it. I understand that completely. Like, it's kind of good to talk with a realtor that has been at it for a while, and they can answer your questions. Or more importantly, well, and I'll just say this too, though, because the newer agents, some people are newer and they really have a love for it. If they're honest with you and say, you know what, I don't have the answer, but you give me 24 hours, I'll get the answer for you. Exactly. Or I'll bring someone to the meeting. You know what I mean? Like,
you all got to start somewhere, man. You all got to make your chops, and you all got to start somewhere. But you can definitely see through those people that's just in it for the money.
Oh, bro, let me tell you. And yeah, the man, and they make my life difficult.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now I'm being honest and forthcoming, but the last guy done screwed you over so bad, you're like, oh, I don't even want to hear what you got to say.
Right.
Like, You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a relationship.
Here he come with the, oh yeah, yep, the scorn lover. Yeah, I'm paying for the sins of the
Here,
right.
Here come Ron coming to talk that insurance talk, huh?
Yeah, here he come behind some, yeah. You know, no, I'm not gonna talk insurance. I'm gonna talk about you, right? And that needs to be the conversation. I'm not here to make a sale. I'll make recommendations based upon what it is based upon your life. And
all
I
right,
think
so Ron, moving forward, what sort of things can people sort of put in place, or what kind of steps can people start taking to take more control of their finances in their life?
Well, first thing I would say is, of course, there's always knowing your worth, recognizing what you're worth, right? Understanding your value, getting control of your spending, right? Like getting a budget. I think budgeting is so key, right? Understanding wants versus needs, what I need versus what I want. Understanding needs, budgeting, and just value. Like if you think you have a spending problem, right? One thing I always tell some people to do is to exercise that, for like 2 weeks, don't carry any cash.
Mm.
Everything everything you spend, use your debit card. Right. And in 2 weeks, look at your statement. If you can't figure out where your money's going, that's going to tell you everything you need to know. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that'll tell you where you're overspending. Like I've had clients that said they can't figure out why they can't save any money. I'm like, well, dude, you're spending like $300 a week and eating out. Like if you go buy groceries, you know what I'm saying? Like that may help.
I really honestly think that we really don't understand that. So sometimes you watch these podcasts, you see these things like, you'll hear people say stuff like, don't buy the $7 cup of Starbucks, right? They'll you know how they always compare.
You go to 7-Eleven and get it for $1.50. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not telling you don't buy the Starbucks. What I'm saying is there's an alternative. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to live like a hermit, but right. The problem that we have is you're spending your money and you have no idea where it's going. Like it's literally going out and you have no idea. I guarantee you, if you show me your bank statements, I can show you where your money's going.
Right. And again, like I said, it comes wants versus needs, right? And understanding the value, understanding value. What we value, because that shows in where you spend, right? Now, again, I'm not gonna tell nobody like, I like my Jordans, I like my nice stuff too, right?
Everybody got a vice.
Make no mistake, right? But I also have to understand that it's not a necessity. You know what I mean? And I gotta prioritize. We gotta make sure our priorities are straight. You know what I mean? Like you get just because you make more money doesn't mean you need to go out here and create more bills.
That's America, baby.
And right, but it's also a mistake, right? Because all we're doing is we're creating a bigger hole for us to get ourselves out of if we fall into one, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm comfortable here. I just got this raise, but I got the raise, but I'm living good. Why don't I just, I go on the trip, but why don't I take the extra money and put it into an investment for later on for a rainy day? And then when a rainy day like COVID hits, I'm not like, oh my God, because I didn't create any new bills. I can sustain the ones I got because the raise was put away, right? Yeah. But we tend to want to, people tend to want to buy more because they made more, and it's not what we need to do.
I say we out here, man. I said we out here pandemic balling, man. People out here pandemic balling, acting like it ain't no pandemic going on out there.
Bruh, are they ever, man? Are we ever? Look, are we ever? I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna leave myself out. You know what I mean? Just full disclosure. But yeah, man. Every now and again, you want to do something nice, and that's okay. But again, there needs to be a budget. You know what I mean? Wants versus needs, and understanding your credit. That's your lane, and you're great at that. You know what I mean? I talk about credit a little bit. But yeah, keeping your credit under wraps.
Look, before I was getting ready to wrap it up. Before we even jump out of here though, because you guys ran my credit when I got insurance, right?
They look at it.
Yeah, but that's a sort of a thing that you got to you want to get that straight too, right? Like
Oh yeah. Well, man, understand you get insurance. We look at your credit, your jail record, travel record, like you know what I mean, like all that stuff come into play, bro. Your medical record, everything.
Hey, didn't and then you guys came and took some blood.
Absolutely.
I said absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, but
man, I felt like I was like a car, man. Y'all took me into the Jiffy Lube, man. I had my oil changed, got my tires rotated.
I mean, but Corey, again, good credit gives you options in life, right?
Yeah.
And it's better to have more options than to be limited.
I tell you what, Ron, man, the stuff that y'all did, right? Whatever. I'll tell you how my life is now, how it is now. If that stuff that y'all needed from me, if that would have been 10 years ago, brother, I wouldn't have signed up because my credit was shot. I'm scared, black folks. I'm scared to find out the results of my blood test. Like, why everything? We are in fear of everything. But now I live this life where, like, I got good credit. I know I don't have nothing in my blood. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no monkeys on my back.
Right.
So I'm living this life now where, like, I can take advantage of these opportunities, and that's more like what I want to kind of get people aware of is like when you're living in that, when you're vibrating in that low energy, no doors open for you. You can't see beyond your struggle. But when you come out of that, and hopefully this helps people, right? Or at least maybe it helps them start the conversation, or at least get the ball rolling down the idea of, okay, maybe I need to look into getting a life insurance. Maybe, do you guys do trust too?
I personally don't do them, but we can manage the assets that go in a trust.
Okay.
And I have a couple of attorneys that I could recommend that actually do that. So that is part of what you could get through me, brokered, of course.
Yeah. So talking about that, about like our insurance, our trust, leaving things on. But look, I don't want to keep you all night, brother. Where can these people find you, man? Where can they find you? You on the corner doing this thing? You standing on the soapbox selling insurance and beans?
Yeah,
what you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm on the soapbox of social media. You can always find me. I can be found on Facebook at Ron Blackwell. Instagram, same thing. Ron Black on Instagram. I have my LinkedIn page, also Ron Blackwell. MassMutual, you can find me.
What's because I think I'm also going to do this on an audio cast. So where can people find you? Can you give them a link or something where they can find you audio, like maybe an email or?
Okay, phone? Yeah, my email address is eblackwell@financialguide.com. Cool, eblackwell at financialguide.com.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, so what I was just gonna say, and then what I'll do also is I'm gonna in the descriptions down below, I'm gonna add links to Ron's his contacts. So if you guys want to call him, get in contact with him, set up an appointment with him, he'll be more than happy to talk finances with you and talk financial planning. I mean, I don't want to put words into his mouth, but I know the brother. So
yeah. I'm always down to help. That's what I'm here for.
And then look, the other thing also is that maybe there's somebody out there watching this or listening to this, and maybe you already have insurance. Maybe you already got your life straight, right? But your friend or your family member may need coverage. Someone at your job may need coverage. Ain't nothing wrong with referring a good brother to them. Nothing wrong with that. Because again, we always do this thing where it's just me. But what about the person that that's out there that needs that policy right now?
Right. Amen. Yeah, we all, again, we can accomplish more together than we ever could separate, man. And referrals are the key to what it is I do. So I would love to help anyone that anybody knows, man. I just want to help. I just want to help people get better financially.
Me too, brother. Me too. Well, look, man, I thank you for your time, man. If there's any questions that anybody has, you can put the questions down below. I know Ron personally, so if you have any questions, I'll direct your questions to him, or I'm gonna tell him go read the question because I ain't gonna, so he can answer the question.
I can do that too. I can read a little bit.
Any questions about any of that? Leave them down below. Thank you guys for always watching. If you watch this entire thing until the very end, here's what I'm gonna do. If you watch this until the very, very end, I have a book called Never Give Up. If you're out there and you'd like a free copy of my book, the first person that comments or the first person that messages me, send me somewhere where I can send the book to you. So I'll send you an autographed copy of my book, Never Give Up. In the back of my book is a dream sheet. I will not promise you that you're going to be a gazillionaire when you do this, but I will promise you that your life will greatly increase when you do this dream checklist sheet. So I have a dream checklist sheet in the back of my book. First person to inbox me, says they want a copy, send me an address to where I send this to you. Let's talk, and I'll send you a free copy of the book. Mr. Blackwell, you want to sign? You anything you want to say on the way out, brother?
No, sir, man. Let's get financially fit. We always talk about how we want to be spiritually, emotionally successful. Let's be financially successful and financially fit as well. Let's build generational wealth, people.
I'm with you, brother. All right, man. Well, thank you, Ron, man. I ain't got no takeout music, brother. I'm just gonna cut this off. Not yet. Hold on.